Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Kayleen String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner. And I'm still making some adjustments because I'm streaming with the Revel again. And this thing is a whole lot heavier than my Galaxy. So I'm having to keep messing with the phone mount till I can get it the way I want it so it doesn't really droop. There we go. I think this will work. So this is a 2022 might be able to make out part of the 2 is sitting on top of the M of the word meal. But this is a 2022 pack. There is Quint and Emphos in the house. This is a new menu to me. Whereas before, when I've had some of the Halal MRE menus, but not all of them, I did not know about the vegetable barley stew with lamb. I've had the lamb with lentils, and I have the jalfrezi with lamb, but never the vegetable barley stew with lamb. So I'm excited to try this one. This is one of the 2. The other one I had 2 weeks ago that I got from Black Dog Bob. He put these in my mystery box when he packed it himself after my order somehow got messed up somehow. Spicy tuna rolls and Angry Blacksmith are here. Thanks for dropping in. But I can tell that it's 2022 and not 2012 because this is the newer packaging that came out in, say, like 2018, 2019. And most of the items are in these tan packets. There is still a silver packet in there. I thought all of those had gone away, but maybe not. But anyway, this is the same type of inner bag that is in all AmeriQual MREs and many Sapacos, instead of the thicker peelable seal bag. There's Jay in the house. So it makes disposing a little bit more interesting, but that's why I just use a bag off to my left to stick all the trash in. So Jaden is a first-time visitor here, at least that I know of. Welcome. I do this every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. And there are a couple of things that are peculiar with the Halal MREs. This is accessory pack that is totally different than the standard MRE accessory pack, and I'll show you that in a bit. So this is the sleeve that has the nutrition info for the vegetable barley stew. And you would use this if you were out in the field with your flameless ration heater. You stick your retort in the bag, you drop the water in, then you stick this bag inside of this sleeve. And one time I had one of these entrees. I took it to an event and I put it inside of the MRE bag that I had already field stripped. And it was already a hot day. And I guess I didn't need to do that because the FRH bag literally melted to the ration bag. So I couldn't separate them, but that's okay because it just made it easier for disposal. So there is Foreign MRE in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Art and Nina over there. I bet you are so looking forward to getting into your new digs. By the way, this is where I got this spork, this titanium spork. And for an MRE mug. So this is the pouch that has the halal vegetable barley stew with lamb. So that will go into a pot on the stove. For those that are not familiar with live chats, what Art and Nina did is called a super chat. And monetized channels can do that in order to pick up another donation now and then to help support the channel. This is grape beverage powder that will go into my drinking jar. And see, these are snack heavy. Dry roasted and salted peanuts, and the word S is got lopped off there, but they're vacuum sealed instead of just loose. There's my Kreischer in the house. Oh, I thought this foil pack, but it just where it did not get sealed. Again, this is 2022. This is cranberries. It's actually nice to see fruit in there. Oatmeal cookie, so it's an actual dessert. I do like that they have gone to more variety of desserts in these. And here is Snackadoodle Mix. I have not seen this one before, so this is new. So it's got pretzels. Might be too shiny to read the ingredients, but LC and Booger Butt are here. Thanks for dropping in. Got pretzels. It's got sesame sticks. Peanuts. Cheese corn sticks. And all the other ingredients that they put in to make up these. But, so anyway, back to the peculiarities of these halal MREs. There is no hot drink option of any kind. That's just like the low sodium MREs that you get from Sapaco. And I got an older case of those, and those are repeat menus. I wish I would have gotten one of every menu that they did for that, but anyway, no hot drink option. Same with the halal MREs. So this time, I am going to do one of my old coffee bags that I need to use up anyway. I have 2 of these left. I've had these for several years, so I've been carrying them around to camp, but I just hadn't used them because I would either use my G7 or I would be drinking coffee that someone else had prepared. But you can still buy these, but this will give me an opportunity to show you what this is. See, it looks like a tea bag, but it's full of coffee. Regular ground coffee. And you just put it in your cup And then you put your boiling water over it, let it sit for about a minute, and then you just kind of jiggle it up and down like you would a tea bag. But because I like my coffee with creamer and sugar in it, I just got this out of my stash. Just my own creamer and sugar. But that is how these coffee bags work, just like a tea bag. And I think this grape drink is going to be one of those that is going to turn kind of bluish. See, the powder itself looks white. Nope, it turned purple. It's the carbohydrate electrolyte grape drink that turns blue. Why they chose to make that one blue, I don't know. I mix these drinks up first because they do take a time to dissolve because of the sugar that's in them. But anyway, back to the accessory packet. In these Halal MREs, the mil-spec ones, you get something that you do not get in the regular MREs or the MCWs. Besides the spoon and 2 packets of sugar with nothing to put it in, you get white matches, or white book of matches, not DD Bean and Sons. And these are white tip, just like the last ones. Think Atlas match instead of DD Bean and Sons. You get an actual napkin in this instead of just the wet wipe. And that's in addition to the standard rear roll. You not only get pepper or salt, but you get pepper. So you get salt and pepper. All MREs should do this. And you get no gum in these. So I'm going to move all these to the side. I will go put this into the pot on the stove, and then I will bring back the water for my coffee, and I'll be right back. I just took the kettle back into the kitchen to get it out of the way. I will put that back there. It'll steep. Now go ahead and start opening up all these other things. Well, I'm not an expert on such things, but I'm assuming it's because of all the stuff that goes in the air that gets blown around by the wind. Tiny bit of a hiss. Now I can knock the peanuts down so I can finish opening this pouch. But yeah, I know about the seasonal allergies because I deal with it myself. Is the roasted salted peanuts. And just some of the salt going down there. I'm going to open up the oatmeal cookie next. Kind of has a cinnamon smell to it. You can't see the cookie because of my, there we go. This little thing that you see right there is part of my foam mount. So it's in a slightly different position than it was, or than it is when I'm using my Samsung. Yeah, and a lot of dust, and today especially here because I went outside for a little bit earlier and wind was just whipping up like crazy. It was blowing leaves around, it was blowing trash around. So that gets all the cranberries. I'm happy that these are not the osmotic cranberries. There is James Ortiz in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Now the last thing we're going to open up is this Snack-a-Doodle. Oh, that didn't work from that end, so I'll just go at it from this end. Oxygen absorber. This is a basic savory mix. Everything is opened up. I'm going to go ahead and give the grape drink another mix. There's still a lot of powder left on the bottom. There's still powder on the bottom, but I'm going to leave it for now. So I'm kind of agitating the coffee bag a little bit. If you want a stronger coffee with these, you keep it in a little while longer. Just like a tea bag. You just dispose of it without any mess. This is one of those corn snack sticks that you find in a lot of these savory seasoned snack mixes. That's what it looks like on the inside. Had this been in the old silver packets, it would have tasted very stale already. There's just a regular solid pretzel. Here's the sesame stick. That's what it looks like on the inside. These are not all that big, so it's really hard to get a good close-up. Now these corn snack sticks, or at least that one, the one that I ate first, actually did taste a little bit stale, but the pretzel and the sesame stick taste fine. There's peanut. peanuts pick up a bit of the seasoning from the other items in here. I got these corn nuggets. That's what it looks like on the inside. Not quite like corn nuts, but not quite like the other corn nuggets either. I didn't see what the... No, not stale brains. Pick up some of these roasted salted peanuts. Definitely a step up above just the plain peanuts. That tastes just like any grape Kool-Aid or other fake grape drink. Now these are just the plain cranberries, not the osmotic ones. I do not like those, but if they're very fresh, I'll eat them. But the older the osmotic cranberries and raisins get, the funkier they get. And they taste about as fresh as you can get, being 2022. No doubt you would have been terrified to bring that home. Yeah, my oldest sister works with kids who have that same issue. And some, for one reason or another, cannot wear a mask because of difficulty breathing, even without a mask, or they just don't have the ability or the will, through no fault of their own, to keep one on because of their diminished intellectual capacities. Yeah. Yep, this is definitely fresh. And the cookie in one piece. Till I just broke that chunk off. It's got the smell of cinnamon on it. And I can taste it. My stew should be done, so I'm going to go get that, and I'll be right back. And back, I'll slide this over just a little bit. This is just like a dome lid that comes with my cookware set that I have had since college. And it's handy to put the retort pouch in after I take it out of the pot. Oh, time to take out some trash. There we go. Report that bugger. Yeah. It's bound to happen. I just have a paper towel to dry it off, so it makes handling easier. Yeah, these bots, it's these in the live chats and the fake giveaway spam bots in comments. They like to show up in videos that do not have anything to do with the giveaway. All they want to do is take your info and your money. And I'm afraid that some people may have fallen for these scams until more people started raising a stink about it in comments or in videos. Here it is. This is, let's see if I can get this. I think that focuses a little bit better. So this, the vegetable barley stew with lamb. That carrot was pretty soft, but the lamb was pretty nice. It did not feel like it was overly processed. The barley is the whole barley, like, say, you might find in a minestrone soup or other soup where barley is used as an ingredient. Here's a bigger piece of the lamb. Yeah, this one is really, really good. Although I wouldn't mind seeing a few additional veggies in here besides carrot and potato. But the sauce tastes like it's a tomato sauce. It would be nice if the carrot was a little bit firmer. But I can still taste it. The barley is still pretty firm. It has not gone to complete mush. Well, it might be a bit of an issue trying to upload it all the way from Des Moines to where you're at, LC. That might be a bit of an issue. Again, I apologize for the shakiness of my phone mount. It's not the most steadiest thing. Oh, there's a kernel of corn in there. That's nice. It's got a little bit of bite to it left, so that's good. Robert is here. Thanks for dropping in. This is Halal Vegetable Barley Stew with Lamb, 2022 pack. So this is a very fresh MRE, probably packed about the middle of the year, or maybe like second quarter of the year. I had not seen or heard of this menu before, so I'm guessing it's new. I don't know what it replaced or if it was simply an addition. Although I have heard noise that the ratatouille has been retired. I have actually never had a ratatouille MRE. I need to do something about that. Oh, just a hair crooked there. That's one vegetarian one, I believe it's vegetarian, that I have not had yet. So I do want to get a hold of one of those. But the other two lamb halal MREs are the lentil stew with lamb and jalfrezi with lamb. And I really enjoy both of those, of course. Anything lamb in it, I'm all over it. And this is nicely done. It's not gamey. It's not overly processed. It's not like eating ground meat. It's smaller chunks, but it's more of a pulled instead of a ground. So you know you're getting some real meat. See, right there is a piece of the lamb. I'm just going to go for another handful of these peanuts. And this is something that all MREs should have if they put peanuts in them. Put the roasted and salted ones in there. It would be more of a morale booster for the person out in the field having to eat one of these. Halal is the Arabic word for permissible And it is a dietary guideline that Muslims follow. It is very similar in concept to what kosher is for Jews. And of course, there are non-Muslims who choose to follow halal or guidelines, or they follow the kosher guidelines just either out of some kind of a conscience or because, in my opinion, when the animal is humanely raised, fed, a good diet, well cared for, and then slaughtered humanely, the meat just tastes better. And I have turned some non-Muslims on to getting some of their meats from Halal groceries. And after they've done that, they have agreed that the meat just tastes better. And of course, you can also get some awesome spices there too. This snack mix here, these corn sticks take the rest of the snack mix down a notch. I mean, it's not rancid. I'm not getting any funky feeling in my mouth, but just to eat one by itself, and some of these taste a little bit better than others, but some of them are just a little on the stale side. But the rest of this, the pretzels, the corn nuggets, the sesame sticks, and they're perfect. And the peanuts pick up the seasoning from the rest of the mix. But the company that did this, they need to work on their corn snack sticks a bit. So what this could probably use, someone might want to add a little bit of a hot sauce or crushed red pepper. I got the salt and pepper here, but it does not need any more salt, that's for sure. But a little bit of heat might do this little bit of good. But other than that, it just tastes like any other stew with meat. It would just be nice to have some more variety in the veggies. But I will have no issues finishing that off. Again, these MREs do not come with a hot drink option of any kind, which I find rather odd, because there is nothing in the halal dietary rules saying that you cannot have a hot drink with your meal. And because the creamer is non-dairy, that would not, I don't think that would be an issue for most Jews who may be given one of these rations. These rations may be given to Jews as well as Muslims. You know, if kosher ones are not available, and I'm sure kosher rations, which are packed by a totally different company than any of the three mainline ration packers that are used for these, some of those might be given to Muslims, and you get coffee in there, you get cocoa mix, you get creamer and sugar in those, at least if they're still going the same, maybe a different company name, but I've seen some of those on eBay with the same type of accessory pack that has all that stuff in it. But with the Halal MREs, I don't get why there's no hot drink option. But yet you get 2 packets of sugar. And you get a white book of matches instead of a tan or green. I can see, there may be gelatin in the gum, and that is most often pork-based. But then again, I could be wrong. But to get not only the standard rear roll, but an actual napkin. See, those are the few differences. I have a video on the packaging style of the older Halal MRE style, and I have one of those. I did that video, I think, either late last year or early this year. The bag that has a peelable seal, I think in that one was like 2017 or 2018. And then they went after that to what looks like the inner bag for an Ameriqual or some Sapaco. And I guess the newer versions of the Sapaco low sodium rations are in the same type of bag that I unwrapped, to get the stuff for this one. And you just tear it open, there's no peelable seal, and you don't have a handy bag for disposal, because when you rip some of those open, they might tear in all kinds of weird ways. Yeah, there's a weird lighting shift. I don't know how to turn that off, or it's just something that happens. I could not find a setting for that. Say when I put something dark or something, there's a bit of a lighting change from dark and light, but it's not showing up as much with this one as it did, I think, last week or the week before. But I hope you like that, the fact that I can focus a lot better with this Revel 5G. Because focusing on the Galaxy is just hard. I can't get it to do it anymore. Eventually, I am going to replace it with the newer Sprint locked phone that I can put my SIM card in and use it for video shooting. I have looked at some of those. You can see how red these cranberries are. Yeah, I like them when they're nice and fresh like this. My air conditioner is still working. It'll come on for a bit and then it'll shut off for a bit, come back on and shut off. Even when it got colder, I still had it on instead of the heat mode. If it dropped too low in here, it just wouldn't cycle on. But I was fine with that because I was still plenty warm. I would just not run the fan in my bedroom, or I would have it on the lowest setting. But today it got up to, let's see, I'm gonna do a quick check. Got up to 83 Fahrenheit. It was raining a little bit ago, but now it has stopped. But we're supposed to get more rain overnight. And then tomorrow's supposed to be 70 Fahrenheit. And then after that, the highs are supposed to be in the 50s and 60s during the day. And then lows in 30s and 40s at night. So we're actually going to have some autumn weather. And when I looked out my slider, the leaves on the sycamore and the birch that are in front of my apartment have really gotten yellow. And it's slightly darker shade than this, and a little bit of this orange color. And then there are some trees in the park across the street that have gone darker still. And a lot of leaves are already dropping off. So this is our last, at least for the next month or so, last really nice day. It was like summer. Had I not needed to be so protective of my plants, more of them could have still been out on the deck. But all the pots out there are empty. So I just go out there to pick up leaves off the deck and put them into the compost bucket. And my bucket inside the cabinet that's under the sink, that's getting full. I'm going to have to empty that out there. So until a lot of that breaks down after this dump, I might have to just literally stop collecting scrap until that bucket, the stuff in the bucket can compress and break down a little more. But those ears of corn that I brought home earlier in the summer, I cut all the corn off of that and dehydrated it. So I got all those corn shucks out there, and I've been getting apples and oranges and bananas and the onion, those onions that I chopped up. You know, I peeled those. I got sweet potato skins in there. I diced those sweet potatoes up and they're in the freezer. So I've been doing some veggie processing and stripping the leaves off the herbs that I dehydrated. So my little squash that I have up on top of my cabinet, when I finally decide to cut that off, if I will compost those leaves, and I'll cut that long vine apart. And my cilantro is up there too. And that is, I'm watering those every day. So it's not like I'm just letting them completely dry out. You know, the cilantro, because I let it go to seed, I'm hoping that it's putting the energy into developing those seeds. And when I'm gone, I put a couple of my Olight swivel lights angled up at it so that they do get some light when I'm not here. Otherwise, my kitchen light and my light from my ceiling fan, that gets to those plants. But in a couple days, I'm going to be taking that cilantro down, and I will see how many seeds have turned to what's basically about the color of this. You know, when you go buy coriander seed in a store in the spice section, coriander is the seed of the cilantro. So it looks like I've gotten a fair number of seeds on there. I might be able to get a few leaves that I can put into a little Mylar bag to store for later use. But even though I'm watering that one every day, they are drying up. So I will see what I get off of that. But I will do a video on that. So that will be the last of my city garden update videos. And then it will be time for me to get my final harvest weight in for Shed Wars. Yeah, I told the others, yeah, I'll be weighing in ounces because I will not get a whole lot considering what I have to deal with. But that little squash, it looks like it might be an acorn squash, but when I was trying to do a photo search on Google, sorry about that, it kept coming up as some kind of a small gourd. So I don't know if that is edible or not. It doesn't have the really noticeable striping like some of the gourds did in that picture, so really hasn't gotten all that big, and I'm thinking it's because of my limited sunlight that I get. You know, in the warmer months, because my apartment faces north, and I have obstructions to the east for morning sun, and with that being farther south, I don't get a whole lot of that morning sun like I do in the winter. No, wait, I got that backwards. In the winter, the summer, I do get that sun, but because the trees are all leafed out, I don't get a whole lot of it. Plus, there's a house that blocks some of it to the east. And then in the evening, it's the same thing. I get decent sun from the west as it's setting, but because of the leaves and another building, plus a partition that separates my deck from my neighbor's half, I don't get a whole lot. And nothing at all in the middle of the day, no sun at all, because there's too much shadow. When the sun is going over the south, the south side of the building gets the sun more than the north side, obviously. So my seed swap partner for the Wide Family Farm seed swap, she's already gotten my seeds and she did a video on it. I didn't think she'd gotten it because I thought there was a problem with, so I sent a second package, but she said when she gets the shade tolerant seeds that she's looking for, she'll just send that second packet back. And I'll just hand those off to someone else at another time. But she's looking for shade tolerant seeds, and she's waiting for those to come in, then she'll send those to me. So that's what I need here is shade tolerant. You know, I can't really grow anything that requires full sun. So that's why my little squash or gourd thing isn't as even big around as my drinking jar. But I had a few others, but they were just either too small or they dropped off. And I had no idea about hand pollinating. And a couple of those flowers I wouldn't have been able to hand pollinate the way the vine was just draping down the outside of my deck rail. But unless I get seeds out of that little thing, I have no more of those left because Bellyacre sent me 4 of those seeds and one was broken on arrival. And so I planted all 3 that remained and only 1 came up. The other 2 did not. So I still haven't been able to positively identify it. But, you know, I would like to keep it going for a little while longer, but the leaves are just dying out. They're drying up. And the vine is just not as flexible as it used to be. So, because of the kind of space I have and because I'm so short, I really couldn't stretch that thing out all the way across the top of that cabinet, so I just basically curled it up. I get on my step stool to water them. You know, if I didn't put them up there, my cat would be all over them. And I do not want her messing with my plants because I don't know what they could do to her. Yeah. They nailed it on this oatmeal cookie, putting that cinnamon in it. Yeah, that's a winner. Yeah, too bad I didn't get any apple jelly in this ration. I could have put some apple jelly on that cookie. Or maybe when I was either getting my stew out of the pot, I should have took a little extra time and gotten one of my packets of Russian apple butter. That would be good on one of these cookies. gonna keep switching off back and forth between all these. I got 2 more Halal MREs left. Those are older. One is the older pack style in the clear bag with a peelable seal. That one is a jalfrezi with lamb. And the lentil stew with lamb is in the same type of packaging that I opened up tonight. And I got 2 regular MREs. One is a beef ravioli, and the other one is Asian style beef strips. I don't think I've had that particular menu yet. And then I have the 2 salmon DAF black line rations. One is a salmon paella, and then the other one is a salmon stew, which is different than the paella. But I had both of those, I believe, in the red and white DAF packaging. But these are the black and white. So I don't know if there's a difference, just labeled different to distinguish between the intended user, or if there's a calorie difference or component difference, because I didn't see anything on the list that looked different. But you get 2 packets of coffee, get 6 packets of sugar. That's a lot of sugar for 2 standard sized cups of coffee. You got the berries jam and the big cracker, which is basically a cookie. The big cracker is as thick as that. And the peanuts, you get a mix of peanuts and raisins, but the peanuts are not salted or roasted. But you get a good sized portion of them. See, like, if this and this were together, maybe plus the peanuts out of this, that would be the amount of peanuts and the raisins you get into one of those things. Of course, the DAF spork, I have 1 of those, now I have 2 more. I think the 1 DAF spork I got is in my get home bag. I may put the other one in my bug out bag. And I could put 1 in my camping food utensil bag, but I already have several sporks. My cheap plastic black one, it had no name on it. That one broke, so I tossed that. I got 3 light my fire plastic sporks. And I have the one that I normally use, my UST one. The spoon end is as big as the spoon that you get in a Polish or German military utensil set. And of course I have another one of these. But I have not taken it camping. I have actually 3 of these. The other 2 are still in their original plastic bag and little cloth pouch. So I may upgrade. I may put that one of my other titanium sporks in with my camping utensils and use that. This is a little shorter than my UST spork, but even that fits in that little pouch that this came in. And I may give one of these away, so that's why I have left it in their pouch, which is inside of a little Ziploc bag. And those little Ziploc bags are very handy to have. But when I figure all that out, I will say more about it when it's closer to that time, because when I hit 1,500, I am going to do another giveaway. That's why I wanted to get at least one more of these sports so I could include it in a giveaway. And then what did I do with my last 4 in MRE order? I bought a 3rd one. Oh, these are little potato sticks. That's what these little things are. You like shoestring potatoes? I'm just finishing this off. Because why not? So for that giveaway, I'm still early in thinking what I'm going to do. But I'm just throwing it out there that when I get to 1,500, I will do a giveaway. I just have to figure out how I'm going to do it. I may do something for like 2 prizes. A prize for US viewers that will not be costing me an arm and a leg to ship. And for international viewers, I may do something like an Amazon gift card code. That way I can email and then they can choose what they want to use that on. Yeah, after it's converted to whatever currency the winner might use. Now, Gil and his Gray Man Prepping channel is doing that in his giveaway. He is giving away Amazon gift card codes that when he picks the winners for those, he'll just send those in an email instead of sending it an actual package of an item. That way, for instance, if the winner is in, say, Australia, and the prize is, say, the $20 gift card, that winner would be able to use that converted over to Australian dollars on Australian Amazon and pick up an item of their choosing. Something, like a food item or a prep item or, a piece of camping gear or something like that. Or gardening item, whatever. So that might be how I will do it, but I'm not sure yet. I'm like 1244 or something like that. So I got some time to think about it. But I'm going to be thinking about it more to figure out what I'm going to do. I definitely want it to be ration related as well as prepping related. After I do prepping on this channel, as well as my deck gardening. The first couple of giveaways I did, I put together boxes of survival items. I basically made survival kits and then included additional items in the box to fill out the box. But this time I think I'm going to be focusing more on, or at least adding a ration to it. Either I just buy a ration and put it into the box, or I create one. But that's something that I'll think about. Oh, my chat went all the way up for some reason. Well, if you can upload it. uh, by the way, Mike is going off to fold some laundry. Oh, Wyoming Adventures. Didn't see you sneak in through the cat door. How you doing? You're looking at what is left of a 2022 Halal MRE vegetable barley stew with lamb. This is a new menu to me. And some of the snack items are new. Or at least the one that was here. Where's that packet? Snackadoodle mix. But the little corn snack sticks brought the rest of the snack mix down. Now, here's the cookie. It's just blocked by my phone mount. What you see there, the phone mount tab that sticks out is in right here, whereas before, when I use my Samsung, it's right there. And it doesn't look as big or as sorry about that. I got that chest crap that I've been dealing with. But anyway, this camera seems to make things look a little bit bigger. I think it's a bigger lens. Or a bigger focal point. I don't know. I don't know the innards of it. But as much as I liked the color rendering of the Samsung, I think this is more true to color. Whereas the Samsung did make things look a little bit more yellow. I just may stick with using this Revel. I just have to get this phone mount to be a bit more supportive of it. But then I've had this phone mount for probably, I don't know, probably like since 2014. Because I had it a couple years before I moved here. And I moved in here on the 31st of October 2016. But I like that it's flexible instead of just having one or two joints. But it's not the most steady phone mount. But it would be hard to get the angle that I want with a tripod. So that's why I use it instead of trying to do this with a tripod. I could use a tripod, but then I would have to have another device logged in order to see the chat, and I would have to be looking away. Hedgehog Homestead is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. By the way, Hedgehog Homestead in Tennessee, they are working on getting their new property set up for their new home build. So they've got some work done, but at their current place, You know, she has done her garden. She's done all kinds of stuff. Vegetable barley stew with lamb. Really good. Although it could have used a couple of more veggies in there. A little more variety of veggies, but there's some carrots, some potatoes, some corn. And I think that was it for the veggies. But the lamb was really tender. It wasn't overly processed. And you could definitely tell you're getting meat. Is in a tomato-based sauce. Almost reddish. Instead of a browner looking stew like you would normally see with a beef stew. But I think it could have used a little bit of like a hot, like crushed red pepper or something with a little spice. But these Halal MREs do not give you a hot drink option, so I used one of my coffee bags. I have one left of those Folgers coffee bags that I bought several years ago for camping. And I used a few of them here when my power was out and I wanted coffee, so I would use one of my camp stoves to boil water and I'd use the coffee bag. But it's coffee in a tea bag. So I have one of those old coffee bags left, so I used one tonight. Most of the time when I'm camping, I'm either drinking my G7 instant 3-in-1 coffee or coffee that someone else makes. You can still buy those Folgers coffee bags. I have seen them in the stores, so you can still buy them. And yeah, you can buy the little slim packets, like the Taster's Choice coffee sticks. You can get Folgers. In those little packets. Yeah, I have freeze-dried coffee in the jars. I have 2 open ones that I had liberated from my mosque when they were going to be thrown out. So I will use those when I want to make coffee when I have to use a camp stove. That way I can save my coffee packets for camping or restocking. Say if I use one that's in my get home bag, I can replace it with another one of those. Well, it's a very good item to stock up on because basically freeze-dried coffee left in its original packaging that's not compromised, you know, that can last a good long time. Yep, see, Robert's got the idea with that. It's quick. You don't have to mess with brewing it, especially if you're just by yourself or with one other person. And you want to be very discreet. Or if you have a long hike to where your hunting location is and you need to stop and warm up, boil up a cup of water or two, make some coffee, and put it in your travel mug, rinse, lay a bottle, and you're back on the trail. But now that it is going to be getting colder, you know, since we have some fresher instant coffee in the mosque and some of, once in a while, if a different woman comes to help me and my partner do the lunch and she wants some coffee, I'll show her where the instant coffee is and make herself a cup. And I also got tea in there, so someone might want tea instead. But I won't mind drinking the older stuff. Yeah, that's one thing I do not have is a stovetop percolator. I have looked at several online. I haven't been in a thrift store for several months, but once in a while I will go into a thrift store and poke around to see what I can find there. That's pretty much all salt left from those peanuts. Well, that's awesome, Robert. It's being put to good use. But the two pieces of cast iron that I own were thrift store scores. And one time I saw a U.S. mess kit, but I looked at it, put it back down, and I went to go look for something else. And then some other guy picked up that mess kit, and I thought, cool, someone else knows the value of those old mess kits. So as much as I wouldn't mind having a U.S. mess kit, I can pick up one of those online anytime. Can't go to a milsurp store because we lost the one that we had here that was not open all that long. I never got to go before it closed down. I got us. Well, Infos, actually, if you have a bug out location or you have a permanent camp, if you put it inside of a sealed container to keep it clean, you could keep it at that location. So that would be one way you could deal with that. That's okay, Elsie. I don't mind lurkers as long as they're human and not bots. Yeah, that would be one way to have that as a permanent part of that location. Or if you do like group camping and you're taking vehicles and you don't have to walk very far to where you set up, you can use that. When I go with my family, we take both an electric coffee maker and a percolator that gets put on the camp stove. Because we are coffee drinkers. Uh, Thanks for dropping in, Hedgehog's Homestead. Yeah, she's got some cool stuff on her channel. Gardening stuff, typical homesteading stuff. Yeah, she does all that. Plus, she and her hubby are getting their new property ready to build on. Yeah, I have seen some people take these miniature coffee grinders and they will take whole bean coffee and you put the beans in there and the cup that catches the ground coffee is enough for maybe 1 or 2 cups depending on how they grind it or how strong they like it. And then I've seen others use the French presses. Coleman makes a coffee press. Yep. But yeah, when I'm camping with friends, we are more primitive, whereas with family, we use cabins because my oldest sister needs electricity for CPAP, and they don't own a power station. And they don't want to bother with running a generator all night. Plus, it would take a lot of fuel. Yeah, we have used them at the mosque for grinding the spices. In fact, I want to get one for myself. I don't own one. I bought one for the mosque, and then I used it. Some of the salt that we stored got so rock hard, I ran it through the coffee grinder and burned it out. So, need to find a way to keep our salt dry because the moisture absorber I put into our storage room, the bag, it's one of those hanging things like if you've heard of damp rid or those things that you get from the Dollar Tree. Yeah, it's got these crystals in it and they absorb the liquid and then that drains down into the bottom. I found one of those bags at Walgreens on clearance, so I bought it. I hung it in there and that bottom bag that catches the liquid is almost full. But the salt in there, I got a carton, I got a box of it Friday to fill up our salt container for the kitchen, and I had to bust it up. It wasn't hard to bust up, but I had to do that. So what I would like to do is get an airtight container that I can put those boxes in to keep them all dry so that they won't absorb any more moisture. Or throw some moisture absorbers right into that container to absorb some of that moisture. Yeah, I had an air mattress, but the last time I tried to use it, the pump failed. Plus, it sprung a leak from just being folded up too long in between uses. Because usually when I'm camping, I'm using my climate sleeping pad that I originally bought to not only use in my tent, but to use in my hammock. And I've used that climate pad in my hammock. Oh, I do. I save them buggers. In fact, I'm out of them. When I get one of my prescriptions, it comes with one of those little hard plastic silica desiccants in there. I reclaim that bugger. So anytime I get something with one of those silica packets, it immediately goes into something else. I threw them into my food buckets right before I snapped the lid down to secure it, to make sure that there's not going to be any excess moisture in there, even though the food is inside Mylar bags. Yeah, I reuse those things. But because I've used up all the ones that I have had, oh, no, you see my hand move? Yeah, I'm going after the cranberries, so it didn't look like I froze, but maybe it could be something on your end as well as my end. Yep, I just did another weather check and the sky is cleared. Yep. Yeah, I like to have a fair amount of padding. Yeah, Elsie, try refreshing. Just whatever you're using, if you're on your computer or you're using a browser on your device instead of the YouTube app, then try refreshing it and see if that helps. Sometimes that works. But yeah, wow. You had to 3D print all that, Mike? Yeah, I'm just teasing you about having to 3D print that link. But I can't do anything about 3D printed food because, for one thing, I don't have the equipment, and I'm not sure if that would even taste like real food, so I'm very cautious of that. Oop, I just had a brief disconnect. Sorry about that. I was in the middle of taking a bite of my cookie, and I was saying that I would be too cautious about 3D printed food because I would be concerned that it wouldn't taste right. I suppose it depends on the raw ingredients that go into it. And what the finished product is supposed to be, but yeah, I've seen posts on what's supposed to be 3D printed meat. It looks like very finely processed protein and some other stuff, and then it comes out of the nozzle in the shape of a piece of meat and it's supposed to look like a real piece of meat, but I'm not so sure about that. I'll eat silkworms before I will go for that fake meat stuff, because I know the silkworms would be real because I've had them. Thanks to Tack from AOK Foraging and Adventures. Yeah, we did a day hike with another YouTuber, Redbird491, and Tack brought a tray of the seasoned silkworms that are ready to eat. And we ate them as is, but we agreed that they would probably taste even better fried. But I will eat those before I would eat some 3D printed stuff that is supposed to represent food. I mean, are we getting closer to the Star Trek replicators? Is that what we're coming to? I bet some are trying to work on that already. Thanks for dropping in, Angry Blacksmith. Someone type into the chat to LC to try refreshing. Yeah, because that's one thing I cannot do is I cannot type in the chat on my phone because that's what I'm streaming on. So I could turn my chat on and off, but that's all I can do. But that would be another sign that someone might be having connectivity issues, is the sound isn't there. Yeah, I have the turkey spam, and then I have the halal versions, that are made with just chicken, just beef, or turkey and beef, or chicken and beef. I have those. Yeah, thanks for dropping that in. So Storms, thanks for dropping in. Hadn't seen you in here before. You're looking at what little is left of a Halal MRE packed in 2022. This is a menu that I had not had before. I got this from Minotaur Trading Company. It's not on the website, but Bob had some of this available, and when he himself packed my mystery box, he told me about these and asked if I would be interested in trying them. Oh, heck yeah! And he told me how fresh they were. And, oh, dang right. Well, there you go, Mike. You get it done. That way, all you have to do is just open it up and eat it tomorrow. If you don't have a way to reheat it. Or you take an FRH, put that Spam in a hot beverage bag, throw that bugger in the FRH, drop some water in it, and let that go. I mean, if those beverage bags can stand up to the heat of an FRH, you should be able to put your Spam in one of those bags and let it rip. Well, if you like it, it's a good thing to have in your midterm food storage. Yeah, any way you can store up shelf-stable meat is the way to go, because meat prices are going to go up. You know, farmers have had to sell off their herds now because they couldn't afford to feed them all. Or their pastures just were not good enough, or other issues. They sell them off now, so meat prices might not be where they're at right now. A few months down the line, once the current animal stocks get all processed. So when I went shopping earlier this month, I made sure that I added a few more cans of shelf-stable meat, like the chicken Vienna sausage and the Keystone chicken, as well as that Zwan beef and chicken version of Spam. Yeah, that's another thing. If you have freezer space, Yeah, it's a good idea to load it up. I don't have a lot of meat in my freezer now because I've been eating some of that meat. I have a piece of salmon that I will cook for tomorrow's supper. And then I have a couple more pieces of salmon left in my freezer that I picked up, I think, either late last year or early this year. That was given to me. So once in a while I'll take a piece of that salmon out, and it's a big enough piece I can get 2 servings out of it. So I will restock my freezer next month when I do my shopping for meat. I'll get more meat to put in my freezer. I only have the freezer that's on top of my fridge, not an extra freezer that will be a great thing to have. But because I can't have a generator here, I would not have a way to power it should the power go down. Although in the winter, and I've done this before when it was cold and I had gotten a crap load of chicken, but I didn't have room in my freezer, so it was cold enough. I just threw those packets in a bucket and put it out on my deck. And then when I created some space in my freezer by eating some of the meat that was in there, I was able to put that chicken in there. And by that time, it was getting warm enough where it was not quite cold enough to keep it froze solid out there. But for the time that I was able to keep it cold, that was perfect. Yes, the food savers are very handy. I have the tube with the 2 different sizes of the jar sealers. Yeah, I have some food in jars, but I only dry store in jars because I'm not able to can. I don't have the right kind of space or shelving to store a whole lot of jars, so I just stick them wherever I can. And the sugar that would not fit into my sugar container after I had to dump that 10-pound bag that busted open, which I had inside of a shopping bag, a plastic bag, so I was able to contain it. But I immediately filled my sugar container instead of waiting to show that bag of sugar when I did my shopping haul video. I just brought the 2 jars that I filled with the sugar that was left in that bag that would not fit in my container because I still had some sugar in there that I had not used all that sugar yet. But that container holds a full 10-pound bag of sugar. And so what was left over, I filled 2-quart jars. And so I'm just going to leave that sugar in those jars. I'm not going to empty it out into anything else. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, Robert, thanks for dropping in. I'm probably going to call this one pretty soon anyway, since I've gone over 2 hours. And I'm just down to what's left of my cookie and my drinks. But next week, I'll think about which one of my other rations I'm going to pull out. I might do one of the DAF ones, or I might do one of the other two regular MREs that I have. But I'll figure that out closer to the weekend. But anyway, I do want to thank you all for watching. And thanks again to those who came in for the first time. And again, thanks to Art and Nina of Foreign MRE for dropping that super chat earlier. That's much appreciated. So stay tuned till next Sunday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 Eastern. And whatever else I might throw up in the meantime. Thanks for watching and catch you on the flip side.